Shifter was just recently released on VOD, and it is about a young woman who makes a time machine, and she uses it, and she starts to suffer the consequences of what happens to your body and to your life when you screw with the space-time continuum. This is a pretty ambitious film for how obviously low budget it is. It was very low budget. And I thought that I liked that about it a good amount, and I liked some concepts of it for sure. It plays out like a body horror. It reminds me of something like David Cronenberg's The Fly, although obviously not that quality, but what is. Now, one of the problems with this movie, and this isn't, I want to state that a lot of the things I'm about to say that sound negative, I'm not really saying super negatively. That being said, this isn't a film that I'm going to recommend to many people, if anybody. At the end of it, I thought it was ambitious, and I respected it for that, and I respect the film, I guess, but I didn't really like it that much. But I did like things about it. I did think some things were pretty damn cool. Just because it's a body horror. That's what this is, and we don't get a lot of body horror. And what continues to keep happening to her, while the CG is spotty and questionable at times, it is a terrifying consequence. And you know, to screwing with something you shouldn't be screwing with. But you know, and it's so unbelievably low budget that the time machine is laughable when you look at it. But you look past it, it's low budget, who cares? I don't care what the time machine looks like. Like, as long as you sell me on the story, as long as you sell me on the characters, all this and that. Speaking of the characters, man, this film is awkward, but that's the character. Our main character here is awkward, but I feel like the actress who's playing the character isn't awkward and is trying really hard to be awkward, which ends up being awkward. Like, it's an awkward. Does that make sense? Like, her awkwardness in this movie is awkward because it just doesn't feel genuinely awkward. Can I say that word anymore in a sentence? I don't think so. And now, I don't want to knock her performance too much here. And I'm not saying that people like this don't exist, because I've met people that aren't far off of this character. And so maybe her performance is fine, but I did find the awkwardness to be a little much to handle, in addition to this horrendous kitty voice that she has. So she has a cat in the movie, and she like loves cats. And anytime she sees a cat, she does this, like, you know how people get that real high pitch, like, oh, come here, kitty, kitty. Like that kind of stuff. But she does it, and it is legitimately one of the most annoying voices I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, I wanted to like fast forward the fucking sequences. When she did it, every time she'd do it, I'd be like, oh God, make it stop. I couldn't stand it. It was like nails on a fucking chalkboard to me. And she does it a decent amount in the film, right? 4 or 5 times at least. And I was just like, please make this stop. Now here is a gripe I do have with the film outright. I am so fucking tired of movies bashing men so hard. Like, it drives me crazy how many films I have to sit through where a girl is like either just out at a bar, or she goes out on a date, or she runs into some guy or whatever, and the guy's a total dick. The guys in this movie are so horrible. Like, they're just like everything wrong with that typical guy that you want to punch in the face. And you're just like, please stop representing all men in movies like this. Please, I swear, I promise you, For anyone out there who is influenced by something like this, maybe is younger and is like, oh my God, are all men terrible? No, I promise you there are awesome guys out there. This whole fucking notion, these movies just push this like narrative of like men are trash, men treat women like shit, men only look at women as you know, throwaway pleasures and this and that. It is such fucking nonsense. As much as I talk about nudity and as much as I talk about women and stuff in this channel, I respect them a billion times more than any of these movies ever portray, and it just drives me nuts to watch. Yeah, you can have a guy who's an asshole in a movie, but please balance it out with another guy. Like, have 2 or 3 guys that are shit, but at least put one guy in the movie that isn't a total piece of shit, who's actually a stand-up guy, because they exist. It wouldn't bother me if it was just like once in a great while, and I'd just be like, oh, come on, and it would be fine. But because I see it so often, there's this girl that she meets in here, because I'm assuming she's bisexual, I don't know. So she starts hanging out with this other girl, and of course the girl's amazing, right? She's so perfect, but whatever. Her haircut is horrible. Fucking horrible. I've never seen anything like it. It's like squared out, and then there's like a Eddie Munster like you know, V like this, and but like she takes her hairline up to like the high recession and brings it back and then drops it down to the ear, and that's shaved out like Bic shaved, but you can still kind of see the almost like a 5 o'clock shadow, you know, just a very minimal grow out. And then she has the rest of her head all back here, you know, really close, like a not a one guard, but shorter than that, but it's like longer, super short, and then shaved line, and then like a V. It's horrible. It's fucking horrible. The whole time I was staring at it, my hairdresser brain was like, please get this off the screen. I can't look at this thing anymore. So yeah. And I like there's elements about this movie that I like. I like the ambition. I like the exploration of the time travel and the repercussions of it and the body horror elements of it and just kind of the hell that she puts herself into and what she has to go through. And then she starts kind of living the like past and present and future, and what comes along with it. And I just don't feel like it exactly knew what it was going for in that regard. Like, I felt like the story kind of got muddled and lost along the way, trying to explore, you know, some more substantive family issues, relationship drama. Like, you know, in time travel movies where they go back to all these different specific moments in their life and they're affected and it changes their mindset and it greatly affects them. Like, holy shit, this was a great blunder in my life, or this was a missed opportunity, and they go back and they try to fix it, or they go back and they learn a lesson and maybe it's too late. And this film almost plays with that. Like, there's moments of that and you're thinking like, what does this all get our character to though? Like, what are these moments that she's kind of revisiting? Like, what does this do for her character? What the hell am I witnessing right now? Is there growth in her? Is there sadness, remorse, regret? Is this just a greatest hits of like the bad things that have happened so that we feel sorry for her? Like, that's what I'm talking about. It just, I don't feel like it's got direction to it. It just seems like a random series of events of someone kind of stuck in this body horror-esque time, you know, time hell. Like, and just, I don't know. I feel like this had potential and it was ambitious, but because of an awkward performance and because I don't feel like they had, and something this low budget, someone from the movie always ends up watching it. So, doesn't matter what I say. You made a movie. It was ambitious, and I think that there is good here, And I think that you can extrapolate upon that next time, and you can build from that, the successes that you have here. And in the next feature, whether the acting or just up your game, learn from your mistakes, kind of like she should have in this film, and you can have a better thing. But overall, it's an interesting film. I didn't hate it, I didn't like it that much, but and it does get a little repetitive. The whole body horror element of the movie gets very repetitive. You're like, oh, here we go. And if you're like somebody who can't stand seeing someone throw up, get ready, because that happens a fuck ton in this movie. A fuck ton. She throws up like 40 times in the film. It happens so many times. And just what happens to her, the repercussions that I was talking about, this happens 20, 30 times in the movie. So it's very, very redundant. And that's why I'm saying it's not as focused as it should be. It doesn't have a message that I feel like it's going for. So, yeah, it's not something I would exactly recommend, but I like the ambition. And, they at least went for something. And while I don't think it was extremely successful, I like the swing. So, there you go. Adios.